This video is going to be based off the classes I took at Mulungushi University. I'm not going to talk about each and every class. I'm not going to take a lot of time because I took 40 classes in total. It's not going to be about the lecture, it's going to be about the course content. That's what I'm going to be focusing on. So each year I have 2 semesters, and in each semester I take 5 courses. So I'm just going to go year by year, semester by semester, and without wasting much of a very precious time because we've got a very long list to get through. Let's jump right into this video. First year semester 1, I took fundamentals of physics. I did not like this course. What I can remember about this course was parabolas and projectile motion, because I remember it was emphasized so much. Like, physics is necessary for computer science, but I just did not like the course. It was the course that made me cry. It was the course that made me question my sanity so much. It was physics and the next course, which is mathematical methods 1. I did not like them one bit. Like, these were those courses that made me question my life, question everything. These were the courses. Then I also took an introductory chemistry course, which was very, very useless. But I think there was like more reactions. I do not know what was happening in chemistry 101. But it was one of my favorite courses because I actually did enjoy chemistry. It was one of the courses that I would tolerate. I also took biomolecules and cells, and I had no feelings towards this course at all. Like, it was just there. It existed. That's all. Like, I didn't hate it. I didn't like it. It just existed. In semester 2, I took the same courses, but with an addition of ethics and sustainable behavior in society. This course was even worse than biology because I thought it was a waste of my time. I just didn't understand its purpose because I had another ethics course in second year. So I'm just like, okay, I understand we should have morals and everything, but I felt like it was a huge waste of my time. Anyway, moving on to second year, I took databases. This was an introduction to databases. We learned the relational schemas, SQL, what SQL, and all that. Like, this was the beginning of databases. It was so confusing. Like, I was so confused. What made it worse was the exam. I had 2 exams for this one course in the same sitting. Like, you start writing the exam and then they're like, oh, this is the wrong paper. And I actually knew what to write on that paper. And I had lost all hope. Then I entered that exam and the exam was looking like I can actually get something from this. Just going to say, oh yeah, this is the wrong exam. We're bringing your paper now. And the paper that came was just full of SQL left to right. I felt like crying because SQ and I were not. All I knew was how to delete insert. The next course was discrete math. After going through the math I went through in first year, I tolerated this one. Like, I actually enjoyed it at the end of it all. Like, I was like, okay, this one's good. This one's good. I can understand what's going on. There was a lot of algebra, truth tables, hypothesis. What else was involved in this course? It's been so long ever since I took this course. I cannot remember what I did in second year, but I like this one. I like this math. I was like, this is what math should be like. Then I took Introduction to Object-Oriented Programming and Java. Just like databases, I had no idea what was going on. I was attending the classes and I was just confused. The first time I ran a program, I didn't even know how to do it again. I had to go back to watching the tutorial and see how to run an IDE. Even with tutorials from Neso Academy, 2 whole weeks. But 2 days before the exam, I sat down and I logged in and things had to finally make sense. I'm like, oh, that's what you were saying? This wasn't hard. Then I took computer architecture, which this one I actually enjoyed. Like, I actually knew what was going on. I actually knew what was going on, apart from assembly language. I actually knew what was going on. Guys, I mastered those architectures. I actually really enjoyed this one. And the last course I took was digital design. To be honest, I liked the course, it just didn't like me. I don't know if I was studying things wrong at first, but that's how it felt. At first it felt like I'm just not doing the right things. The same truth tables I was doing in the other course, here I don't know what was going on. But I cleared it. That's all that matters. Then we come to semester 2 of second year. In semester 2, I took operating systems. And this is a course I actually enjoyed, just studying different operating systems, what to do, how to work them. It was an okay course. Then I also took networking and communication, which This one, I really enjoyed this course. It actually became one of my options, one of my career options. I was actually looking at it like, wow, this course is really interesting. I can actually do this in real life. It was interesting to learn how network actually works, like how all that works. Then the next course I took was computers, professional practice and ethics. Like I said, I didn't understand why we're taking ethics in first year when this was the ethics we needed to know. I felt I truly did like the first ethics. I did not take it seriously. I played and my CA was 12. Like I was entering that exam with a CA of 12 and I walked in like a walking module. I studied front to back, knowing how to understand. Like with this ethics, why it made more sense was they giving us scenarios, what would actually happen. Like if you do this, what about the next consequence? This is where things are golden rule, utilitarian rule, all those. Like I understood them, understood what are the consequences, I was working module at the time I was entering that exam. The next course I took was intermediate Java. This time I wasn't playing, I actually started to study. We were writing on pieces of paper, so I practiced writing code on pieces of paper, practiced understanding code, and this time things were actually making sense. Like I was actually understanding. This is where we learned things like, what were we learning? We went a little bit further. The course had to get a bit more complicated. It wasn't just write a code that does, I don't know, time conversion. This time I was just like, I'm not doing what I did last semester because that wasn't good. Then the last course I took was data structures and algorithms. This course, this course was a course. I don't know what to say. But my feelings towards this course, I had a love-hate relationship with data structures. Like data structures is really isn't your friend. There's some things where I just, what's going on? But yeah, like I said, I had a love-hate relationship with data structures, and that was that. In third year, semester 1, I took computer security, which I actually really enjoyed. Like, it was my favorite course of that semester. I even went to do cybersecurity internship right after that. Like I actually really enjoyed this course. I was actually studying. I was moving with the lecture. Things were making sense. Things were making sense in this course. Enjoyed this course. It was also something I look at as a career choice. I was like, okay, this one I can see myself doing in the future. The next course I took was modeling and system design. So this was like an introduction to software engineering. What will we do in this course? I don't know. Like I think there's always that one course where I'm just confused. I don't know, but I also remember that there was so much explaining to do in the exam, and I spent time explaining. Then I also took mobile application programming. This course made me sleep at 5 so much because we're working on coursework where we had to make a farming app. Guys, one search button. Just a search button. Was it? No, the search bar. We were given an outline of how things should look. Now, I had to put the search bar in one specific spot. Have you ever cried because of the search bar? 3 weeks of just trying to put the search bar in one position. Like, I was just trying to align it properly, but every single time. And if it wasn't the search bar, it was adding photo features. Like, just adding a feature where you capture a photo. Just capturing the photo and retrieving that information, and then retrieving the information and displaying to another page. 3 whole weeks of just crying. I had the love-hate relationship with this one. Like I really had a love-hate relationship because it's like I actually enjoy creating apps. Not that creative, so my app was looking quite bland, but I was so proud of myself. But then I took real-time and embedded systems. This course for me felt like a continuation to operating systems in a way, because you had all these things like, you had all these processes coming back, things like FIFO, they came back, and things, just understanding what real-time embedded systems were. I actually enjoyed this course. Like, it was one of my favorites. There was computer security, then there was real-time and embedded systems. Like, it didn't feel like a hard course. It felt like things I had learned with extra information on top. So it was an okay course. Then I took theory of computation. You know, I thought mobile applications was bad. Theory of computation, this is where you have all your grammars, your drawing automata and stuff like that. The headache I had coming out of there. looking at how these whole expressions, regular expressions are people they're crying. I think I actually cried. Yes. This was a post from him. This one. I don't know who created it, but they can take it back. Now moving on to third year semester 2. So in third year semester 2, I took computer graphics. At the end of the course, I really enjoyed the course. Just like, wow, you can make a game. You can make a game. You can make cool things with computer graphics. Then I also took artificial intelligence and prologue. This was an okay. This was a time ChatGPT, Gemini, all these were just coming up. So like, wow, we are going to actually understand all these languages, all these models. Then I also took software engineering. This one I can actually remember. Here we dove deep into the different type of methodologies, how to create software and all that. This one I can actually remember. Then I also took fundamentals of compilers. Initially, when I started compilers, it felt like theory of computation 2.0. In this course, we're focusing on languages, like understanding how an IDE processes all that. But we made the programming language. We were taught to make our own programming language, come up with syntax and all that. The last course I took was advanced databases, and this course actually made sense. I actually understood what I was learning. Things were actually making sense. So by the time I was going to write the exam, I knew what I was going to write. I think actually after having it as a foundation, I took this one way more seriously. I focused on it. I focused on understanding databases and just making sure I'm able to work things. I was actually able to exam and everything. Now I was very comfortable with using software. I actually spent time learning software and understanding it before I just dive into using it. Moving on to fourth year, semester 1, I took numerical analysis. This was my math course. I feel like every semester was some form of math course. It's either math or logic, and theory of computation felt like math. I could categorize it as math in a way because there's algebra involved there, unless I'm mistaken. Anyway, numerical analysis. This is where we're dealing with, what was that? Absolute errors. You're learning Cramer's rule, and there was another rule. There was this one for where you had to, I forgot its name, but where you'd have to solve this equation. Then I took ICT project management. I don't know why this course is taken in fourth year. Like, I think it would be nice if it's taken in third year semester 2, because we are going to be preparing our proposals while we're taking the course. To me, it feels like to have been very beneficial if it was a semester 2 third year course, so that I can use and apply everything I've learned when I'm writing my proposal. But anyway, it was there. Then I took cloud computing. This course was also just fine. It was interesting. It was okay. We went on a trip. We went on a trip to Infratel, and it was an okay course. I understood what was going on, guys. I'm not always blank. I'm just going to put that out there. I'm not always blank when taking these courses. Yes. And I also had my proposal and presentation, and I think I went through 4 different ideas before I stuck to the idea I presented. Writing a proposal, it's a lot. Like, you're just making so many promises that you're even wondering, will I be able to do this? Is this possible? I picked the most basic, simple, straightforward project I could think of, because I'm just thinking about time. Thought about, is this even executable? Because you've got like a short time period, which is 6 months, to produce this and have it running and working for you to be able to graduate. Like, I'm going to pick the easiest thing, because I also have 4 other courses that semester that I have to focus on. So I can't just be focusing on my projects. I also have classes to attend and other things to do. Yeah, no. Then I also did web systems and technology. I really enjoyed this course. I really enjoyed this. This was the course I really enjoyed this semester. I even thought about diving into web development. The exam was just practical. The exam was just codes. And I didn't hate it. Like, I really didn't hate it. But I didn't hate that it was majority codes. We get to write a lot of codes in a piece of paper. I didn't hate it. Like, these other courses like web, mobile app development, where they write a mobile, like, no, I actually didn't skip the question. Like, no, we're not doing this in an exam. No. Most of my exams that had programming languages, you will find you have to write code in the exam. So you have to practice a lot of writing code on pieces of paper because you probably will be writing code in the exam. We went to semester 2, fourth year. I took human computer interaction. I enjoyed this course. I enjoyed understanding how to design different web pages, mobile apps. It was an interesting course, and just because my project, when I was working on my project during the holidays, I was playing around with Figma. It was interesting because Figma was something we had to use even when learning this course. So I found it interesting, especially when it came to like reporting your different findings and how websites are designed. Like it's a whole thing. Then I took Internet of Things, which was also an enjoyable course, just to see how certain things can be made smarter. I don't know. You can turn a house into a smart home. That was just so interesting. I don't know, it was more interesting than AI. And I also had my project, which put me through hell. Guys, projects. By the time I was presenting my project, it wasn't even done. Like I was just going through what was actually working. Things that were not working, the way I passed through them, like they don't need to, they shouldn't see, because if they see, they're going to ask me about this, and I do not want them to ask me about this. So I just went, yeah, I'm done my presentation, and they asked me 3 questions. When I was done, I was so excited. Like, oh my god, finally, relief! I don't have to do this again. The day of presenting, I was still fixing some issues. I was still working on things because my project was a mobile app. Yeah, I put myself through that again. But initially, when I was proposing, I wanted a web app, but I was told to make it a mobile app, and I ended up making a mobile app. I took advanced security. Like I said, security was one of my favorite courses, and still was. In this one, we were focusing more on like the theoretical part. In the first computer security, we did practical work. Like we did a lot of practical work with Wireshark, making ransomware, fake ransomware. A lot of practical work in the first one. So this one was just more like theoretical thing. Then the last course I took was statics and empirical methods for computing. This was also another math course. By this point, math and I were not being enemies. We were friends. We were doing fine. That's my computer science degree in 20 minutes. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you're doing computer science and you've got similar courses, please tell me what courses you have that are very similar to the ones I took. If you did like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe down below. And while you are down there, please do turn on that post notification bell to get notified if I post new videos. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!